Have you ever given your whole life to your children, only to feel forgotten when you grow old? Tonight, I will tell you the story of a 75-year-old woman who faced something no mother should ever face. One quiet evening, her own son threw water on her face. But the reason behind it will shock you. Stay till the end to feel the truth that hides behind her tears. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? If this story touches your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real and emotional stories. Now, let's begin. My name is Maya. I am 75 years old. I live in a small, quiet house at the end of the village. The walls are old, but they have seen many stories. Stories of love, laughter, and now, loneliness. Every morning, I sit near the window and watch the sun rise. I make a small cup of tea for myself. The sound of birds gives me peace. I think of my son, Ravi. He is 45 now. When he was small, he used to run to me with his little feet, laughing, "Mama, lift me." I would hold him tight, kiss his cheeks, and dream of his bright future. Now, he hardly speaks to me. He lives in the same house, but his world is different. He has his wife, his job, his phone, and his friends. Sometimes, I feel like a shadow in my own home. That evening, I was sitting near the kitchen. The sun was going down, painting the sky orange and red. I smiled, thinking how beautiful life still was, even in old age. Then, I heard his voice. "Ma," he shouted. His tone was cold. I turned slowly, holding the edge of the chair. "Yes, beta," I said softly. He came closer, angry for some reason I didn't understand. There was a glass of water in his hand. Before I could speak again, he threw the water on my face. The world stopped. The cold drops ran down my cheeks like tears. My heart broke, not because of the water, but because of the pain in his eyes. I stood there, frozen. He turned and walked away without a word. I wanted to ask, "Why, my son? What did I do?" But my lips could not move. That night, I sat awake in the dark. The house was silent, but my heart was crying. And then, I remembered something. Something that happened many years ago. A secret I had kept from him all his life. Why did Ravi throw water on his mother's face? What secret from the past is Maya hiding? That night, I could not sleep. The sound of the water still echoed in my ears. Every drop felt like a memory I could not forget. I sat near the small lamp in my room. The light was soft, yellow, and warm. On the table, there was an old photo frame. Inside it, a picture of me and Ravi, when he was only 5 years old. He was smiling, holding a red balloon. I touched the glass and whispered, "My son, you were my life." But then, tears came again. He had changed. And maybe, I was the reason. Many years ago, when Ravi was a child, his father left us. He said he was going to the city to find work. He never came back. For months, I cried at night, hiding my tears so Ravi would not see. I worked in other people's houses, cleaning, cooking, washing, just to give my boy food and school. I gave him everything I had. But I could never give him the one thing he wanted most, his father's love. When Ravi grew up, he asked me one question again and again. "Ma, where is Papa?" Each time I smiled and said, "He will come one day, beta." But that day never came. Then, 1 year ago, a letter arrived. It was from the city. It said that his father had died long ago. And in the letter, there was something else. Something I had never told Ravi. His father had written, "Maya, forgive me. I left because I was sick. I did not want you both to suffer. I hid that letter. I did not want Ravi to feel pain. But somehow, he found it. Maybe that was why he was angry. Maybe he thought I had lied to him all his life." As I sat in my chair that night, I heard footsteps outside my door. Soft, Slow footsteps. My heart began to beat fast. Was it Ravi? Was he still angry? Or was he coming to say sorry? The door opened slightly. I looked up and saw him standing there, holding something in his hand. What was Ravi holding in his hand that night? Was it anger or forgiveness? The door opened slowly. The room was dark and quiet. Only the small lamp near my bed gave a little light. Ravi stood there. He looked tired. His eyes were red, and his face was hard to read. In his hand, he was holding the same photo frame, the one of me and him with the red balloon. For a few seconds, we both said nothing. The sound of the clock on the wall was the only thing we could hear. Tick, tick, tick. Then he spoke. His voice was low but full of pain. "Why, Ma?" he said. I looked at him with shaking hands. "What do you mean, Beta?" He held up the photo and the letter. "You knew all these years that Papa was dead. You lied to me. You made me wait for a man who was never coming home." Tears filled my eyes. I tried to speak, but my throat was dry. "Ravi, I did not want to hurt you. You were only a child. You loved your father so much. How could I tell you the truth?" He stepped closer. "But I grew up, Ma. You could have told me later. You could have trusted me." I nodded slowly. "Yes, you are right. I should have told you. But I was afraid. I was afraid you would hate me." He looked away. "And now I do," he whispered. My heart stopped. The room felt heavy. I wanted to hold his hand, but he moved back. I said softly, "Do you think I didn't suffer too? I lost him too, Ravi. I carried your pain and mine together." He looked at me again, and I saw something in his eyes. Not only anger, but confusion. His hands began to shake. He sat down on the chair, still holding the photo frame. I went near him. I put my old hand on his shoulder. He didn't move away this time. We both sat in silence. Then he said quietly, "Ma, when I threw the water on you, I was angry. I didn't know what to do. I am sorry." My eyes filled with tears again. I smiled weakly and said, "You are my son. A mother's heart never keeps anger." He looked down, ashamed. But before I could say more, we both heard a knock on the door. It was soft, but strange. Who could it be at this hour? Ravi stood up and went to open it. Who was knocking at their door in the middle of the night? A stranger? Or someone from the past? Ravi walked slowly to the door. The night outside was dark and quiet. The wind made a soft sound, moving the trees near our house. He opened the door carefully. A woman was standing there. She looked around 50 years old. Her hair was short, and her eyes were full of kindness. She held a small bag in her hand. "Is this the house of Mrs. Meyer?" she asked softly. Ravi looked at her with surprise. "Yes, this is my mother's house." "Who are you?" She smiled a little. "My name is Anita. I came from the city. I was your father's nurse." When I heard that, my heart almost stopped. I stood up from the chair and walked toward the door. "His nurse," I said with a weak voice. "You took care of him?" She nodded. "Yes, for many years. Before he died, he gave me something to give you." She opened her bag and took out a small, old box. It was brown, with a silver lock. My hands started to shake as I touched it. I had not seen that box in 40 years. It belonged to my husband. Anita looked at both of us and said, "He said, when the time is right, give this to my wife and son. Tell them I love them and I am sorry." Then she quietly left the box in my hands and stepped back. Ravi and I looked at each other. He was silent. I could see 1,000 questions in his eyes. We went inside and sat down at the table. The small lamp made a soft light on the box. Ravi whispered, Open it, Ma. I slowly opened the lock. Inside, there were two things, a letter and a golden chain. The letter was old, the paper almost brown with age. I opened it and began to read. My dearest Maya and my beloved son Ravi, if you are reading this, it means I am no longer in this world. I left because I was sick. I did not want you both to see me die. Forgive me, Maya. Forgive me, my son. Ravi, you are my pride. Maya, you are my heart. Keep this chain. It is for our son, when he learns the truth. My tears fell on the paper. Ravi sat quietly, his head down. He took the chain in his hand and said softly, Papa loved us. All this time. I nodded, crying. Yes, Beta. He loved us. At that moment, we both felt something change. Like the past was slowly letting us go. But then, I saw something strange under the letter. A small photo. And a name written on the back. Whose name was written on that old photo? And why was it hidden under the letter? I looked down at the small photo under the letter. It was old and faded, but I could still see 3 faces in it. My husband, another woman, and a little boy. My hands began to shake. The woman beside my husband had kind eyes. The little boy was about 10 years old. They looked happy. Ravi saw the photo too. His voice was full of confusion. Ma, who are these people? Why are they with Papa? I didn't know what to say. My heart was beating fast. I turned the photo over. There was a name written on the back in my husband's handwriting. It said, Anita and Arjun, my second family. For a moment, the whole world went silent. The sound of the clock, the wind, even my own breath, everything stopped. I felt weak. My knees almost gave way. Ravi caught my arm. Ma, are you okay? Tears filled my eyes. I whispered. He had another family. All this time. Ravi sat down, his face pale. He looked at the letter again and said softly, Then why did he ask for forgiveness? Why did he call you his heart? I wiped my tears. Because love is not always simple, Beta. Maybe he made mistakes. Maybe he was scared. But I know one thing, he loved us too. Just then, we heard the sound of footsteps again. Someone was standing outside the door. Ravi opened it. Anita, the nurse, was still there. Her eyes looked sad. She said quietly, I think I should tell you the truth. The woman and boy in that photo, they are my sister and her son. Your husband helped them. They were poor and sick. People thought they were his second family, but they were not. He was only trying to protect them. I stared at her, shocked. So he did not leave us for her? Anita shook her head. No. He loved you, Mrs. Maya. He talked about you every day before he died. Ravi closed his eyes and took a deep breath. His voice was low. Ma, all these years I was angry at you. But it was all a misunderstanding. I smiled weakly and touched his face. Now you know, Beta. The truth always comes late, but it comes. He hugged me tightly for the first time in many years. I felt his tears on my shoulder. That moment, all the pain in my heart slowly began to melt away. But then Anita said one more thing. Something that made both of us freeze again. What was the final truth Anita was about to reveal? Could it change everything again for Maya and Ravi? Anita stood quietly near the door. Her face looked calm, but her eyes were full of something. Pain, maybe, or worry. Ravi and I waited. The air in the room felt heavy again. She took a slow breath and said, There is one more thing you should know. Ravi and I looked at each other. What is it? I asked softly. Anita held her bag close to her chest. She said, Before your husband died, he told me something about his health. He said the sickness that took his life might be passed to his son. He wanted me to tell you both. Not to frighten you, but to help you be careful. My heart stopped for a moment. Passed to his son? I whispered. Ravi's eyes went wide. You mean me? Anita nodded slowly. Yes, Ravi. But don't be afraid. It can be checked easily in the hospital. He just wanted you to live carefully, to take care of your heart. Ravi stood still. Then, after a moment, he smiled, a small, sad smile. All my life I was angry with him, he said. But he was thinking of me until the end. I reached out and took Ravi's hand. See, Beta, I said gently. Your father made mistakes, but his love never died. Sometimes love is quiet, but it is always there. Anita nodded. He loved you both deeply. He said his biggest wish was for you to forgive each other and live in peace. I looked at Ravi. His eyes were full of tears. He came closer and hugged me again, tighter than before. Ma, he whispered, I am sorry for everything. For shouting, for the water, for all my anger. I smiled through my tears and said, My son, when you were born, I forgave you for every mistake you would ever make. A mother's heart is like the sky, it has no end. He cried in my arms like a child again, and I held him, just like I did when he was 5 years old. Anita quietly left the house, closing the door behind her. The room felt warm again, full of peace, not pain. Ravi sat beside me, holding the golden chain from his father's box. That night, we both prayed, not for the past, not for what we lost, but for the love that had never left us. The next morning, when the sun came up, it touched our faces softly, like a new beginning. And for the first time in many years, I smiled and whispered to myself, everything is forgiven.